pretty much the MO. It's just like set up a situation where you are totally present. I feel like Josh was kind of like that too. It's like.
I just want to say, if you guys feel the need to shift to any direction, I'm going to be a
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Welcome to the Jazz Lounge. And this is our little celebration of Verve Records. Let me first tell you who's in this band. On drums, we have Julien Cantelm. On trombone, we have Carter Key. On bass, we have John Murray. On guitar, we have Louis Valenzuela. Electric Louis Land. And on piano, we have Cat Shoemaker. And my name is Leonard Patton. And so we're just gonna get right into this music thing. We'll talk. I'll talk a little bit as we go, a little bit about Verve. These songs are selections from some older classic albums to albums that are actually newer within the past, say, 25 years. Verve has been around for a long time, and they've had some, we've been doing this series on 10 different record labels and the albums that kind of, at least some of the albums that help define them. And now we're getting into the more commercially successful labels when you start talking about Verve and Columbia and Impulse and and Blue Note. So Verve is one of those labels. And so the first tune that we played was actually from an album that was from 2002 called Directions in Music. It was Herbie Hancock, Roy Hargrove, and Michael Brecker. And then Slouch's John Patitucci on bass and Brian Blade on drums. It was a live recording, and I had to go back because I think the tour was like a year or two before that, so like 2001-ish. And I had to go back because I remember my friends, we were all talking about going to this. I think it was on a Sunday night up in LA because they didn't come down here to San Diego. And I didn't go, and there must have been some big reason why I didn't go, because there's no way I would have missed this. And I don't know. My wife might have been pregnant with our first child. We might have had a whole lot going on. Like it was around that time. So I don't want to think about it because I get mad when I just go back. And but it's Herbie is represented on 3 of the albums that we're doing. So more Herbie to come later. These next 3 tunes are tunes that are guitar-led tunes. The first one, Kenny Burrell. The second one, George Benson. And the third one, Wes Montgomery. And we'll talk a little bit about the significance of these guys, particularly Wes Montgomery and George Benson, and kind of what this led to for later on. But the first tune will be Angel Eyes, the next tune will be Billy's Bounce, and the next one will be If You Can See Me Now. I'm gonna sit down for a while, I'll be back.
one are we doing?
You want?
That's the right one. There's a bunch of this. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so first of all, these guys are pretty good, right? I mean, they're, it's pretty insane how good these guys are. Well, let me just go back real quick. So, that first one was Angel Eyes from Blues, The Common Ground by Kenny Burrell, which was from 1968. The next one was Billy's Bounce from Giblet Gravy by George Benson from 1968. And the last one they played, If You Can See Me Now, from Smoking at the Half Note by Wes Montgomery from 1966. And, it's out. So both Wes, all three of these guys made some iconic albums on this label. Of course, most of these artists have played on multiple labels. George ended up going to a different, I think he went to Capitol, I think what it was later on. But one of the things that Verve was doing in the 60s, because they were kind of competing with, there was a period of time where it was like Blue Note, and Verve was like right there competing with Blue Note as far as just that, success, commercial success. And, during this time, it wasn't necessarily a thing where, a lot of these albums were trying to achieve like the same kind of commercial success as pop albums, but they were trying to, do well. And I was looking some stuff up, and there was an album that, first of all, that Wes did that was more commercially successful than this album. Smoking in the Half Note is an album. It's when you consider as far as one of the great jazz records of all time, Smoking at the Half Note is one of those that's listed. In fact, a lot of guitarists, including people like Pat Metheny, mark that particular album as the album that started them playing jazz guitar. That's how revered that Wes Montgomery album is. But he did another album called California Dreamin', which was sold like a million. I don't know how, it just sold a lot of records, and he did a bunch of like pop and rock tunes. This was like mid 1960s, before jazz really became, before any kind of commercialization of jazz. And I think Verve was groundbreaking in that way, in the sense that there weren't a whole lot of jazz artists who were at that point who were taking, pop tunes and rock tunes and bringing them to the jazz idiom. And so they did that with Wes on a couple of his albums, and they were pretty commercially successful. Now, the California Dreamin', a lot, some critics would say it's like, well, he didn't get to do his best stuff on there, and it's like, whatever, it's, but the point is, it kind of, and then following in his steps was George Benson. And George Benson, outlasted Wes Montgomery, because Wes Montgomery ultimately died, and George Benson carried his legacy. But he was kind of like the not too far heir apparent of Wes Montgomery. And of course, George Benson went on to humongous success, commercial success. But same thing, George Benson did several albums that had some of those, he did some straight ahead tunes, and then there were tunes that they mixed in some pop and rock tunes. And ultimately George Benson went to another label, and in the 70s, kind of the rest is history as far as what he did. So, I think Verve was kind of setting the tone a lot for what happened to George Benson later on. It's very interesting to look at those things. So the next two songs we're going to hear, they're going to be featured. Kat's going to be singing. Kat sings, by the way. Yeah, she plays wonderful piano, and she also sings. So this first one is from Ella Fitzgerald record. Ella Fitzgerald sings Cole Porter. This was actually the first release from Verve Records. Verve Records started in 1956, and this album was the first release on Verve Records. And this particular album also, in the year 2000, was named in the Grammy Hall of Fame as far as albums. So, you know, as far as like singers and albums that you have to know and listen to, this is one of those albums. So she's going to do a tune from that record. And then the next record is one of the most commercially successful jazz records ever. It's the Gets Gilberto album from 1964 with Astrud Gilberto, who just passed away like literally within the past few weeks. And of course, that's the album that has Girl from Ipanema, which at one point in time, it was the most played song in the world. Like it was, that's how big this album became. And Stan Getz, he, I think, was only second to Oscar Peterson as far as how many records he did with Verve. He did a lot of stuff with Verve. So these next two are, the first one is Ella Fitzgerald, next one is Gets Gilberto, featuring Cat Shoemaker.
Hello? Yep. Test 1, 2.
I get no kick from champagne. Mere alcohol doesn't thrill me at all. So tell me, why should it be true that I get a kick out of you? I get no kick from cocaine. I think that if I took even one sip, it would bore me terrifically too. But I get a kick out of you. I get a kick every time I see you standing there before me. I get no kick, though it's clear to see you obviously don't know me. Some get their kicks in a plane. I get too high with some guy in the sky.
took me a minute to remember I was singing. I was like, what? Oh, I'm saying words, and okay, I'm singing now. Just kind of rubato and then the second half coming in time with everything. Quiet nights and quiet stars, quiet chords from my guitar, floating on the silence that surrounds us. Quiet thoughts and quiet dreams, quiet walks by quiet streams, and a window looking on the mountains and the sea. How lovely. This is where I want to be, here with you so close to me. The final flicker of life's ember. I was lost and lonely, believing life was only
Corcovado. I like that last line. There's two lines that are great. A bitter, tragic joke. I haven't ever sung that before, so that's a great line. And then the meaning of existence. Oh, my love. Who doesn't want to sing that at least once a day?
Reals for reals.
Right?
Yep.
I was feeling that. Yeah.
Feeling it.
Yep. You know me, Leonard.
I wonder if that's a direct translation from Portuguese.
It is. No, I'm lying. I have no idea.
Yeah, some of the lyrics are hard to translate because the way.
They're like more like expression.
Yeah, they a lot of their lyrics are very poetic and metaphoric, and there's things that just don't translate directly. So
Just talking about that.
yeah, it's
It's hard. It's weird that you can't change like in certain languages.
yeah, you just can't go direct sometimes. You have to kind of do the best you can. So these next couple tunes, this next one will be just piano trio. We're gonna this will be represent an album that came out in 1964 by Oscar Peterson. Oscar Peterson spent 40 years. Anybody know Oscar Peterson? He's kind of a just people still marvel at how good he was. Like people now marvel. But he spent 14 years with Verve. This was actually the last record that he did with Verve Records called We Get Requests. So it's a great record, and they're gonna do a tune, Have You Met Mrs. Jones? And then after that, we're gonna move all the way to 2001. And there's a lady by the name of Diana Krall who did an album with Verve in 2001 called The Look of Love, which was huge success. It's her biggest album, and it just goes to show you like some, again, there's some iconic albums from early on, but then later on there's albums that kind of kept the labels alive. Now it's like all the labels are merged and subdivisions of each other. So but regardless, these next two will feature Kat again. This next one will be featuring her on piano, and then she will do some singing again. So far, so good.
That went a lot better than I thought it was going to. You never know. Jonathan Murray. Oh my goodness. Bass. Well, I don't even know what to say. I'm speechless. And Julien Cantelm on drums. Such a pleasure to play. I haven't played with Julien in a couple months. I missed it.
It's been too long.
It's
We
been
gotta
too
do
long.
more.
So, and Carter Key is joining us. So, Carter told me he's a surfer. Surprise.
Try. Floor on board at least.
Sorry, I never know what I'm going to say when they put a mic in front of me. So, don't tell me any personal details.
Secret safe with me.
That's right. I think Leonard introduced this. I Remember You from the Diane Krall album. So, medium upswing. One, two, 1, 2, 3. Very nice. Yay! That was cool. Like I said, just like I imagined it. Just like that.
Coming.
Stuck in your head now, isn't it?
It's a bowling alley.
Oh, dropping stuff. All right. We have a couple more songs. Is that all right? We play a couple more? You guys go with that? All right. So, just pull up my. Do 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 do. Do-do-do-do-do. All right, so let me go to my little handy dandy notes here. Okay, these last two, we're getting Herbie back in the mix. Herbie Hancock, you ever heard of him? Yeah. So these last two, this next one, it came out in 2007. Sorry, 2007. And it was Herbie Hancock, River, from the Joni Letters. Anybody familiar with that album? So it's all Joni Mitchell tunes. Here's the significance of that album. Released on Verve, came out in 2007. Grammys come out in 2008. And it's only the second jazz album ever in history to win Record of the Year. So it beat out, like, Bieber and Taylor Swift and all these others. And the young folk were like, Herbie Hancock, who's that? Who the heck is? They were like up in arms, like, what is this? You don't even know. You don't even know. So that's pretty significant. And Herbie Hancock has done a lot of significant things musically in his career. And many things that don't even get that kind of credit or recognition. Of course, if you know music, you know the impact he's had on music, particularly music in our country, over the past, 50 years or 60 years. So we're gonna do a song from that, and then we're gonna finish with, so this is album. So first I have to tell you, so I'm primarily a singer vocalist. I play percussion. I can play some piano, but I ain't not anywhere near what she can do. But when I was getting into jazz in the early '90s, people always ask, like, who are your favorite singers, blah blah blah. And of course, I like a lot of singers. I go through, anybody from, Ella and Louis to Sarah Vaughan to, of course, Bobby McFerrin, Al Jarreau, like the whole gamut. But when I first got into jazz, I kind of was listening to everything, and I got a very early taste of Pat Metheny. I've always been a huge Pat Metheny fan, and to the point where me and my friends, we would listen to these records and we just sit around talk about the albums for hours and just talk about the songs and the solos and analyze them, and it was just crazy. So there's this album that came out in 1990 from Jack DeJohnette, and I'd known Jack DeJohnette because he played with everybody from back in the day, Miles and everybody. But he also was on this Pat Metheny record called 8081, which had Michael Brecker and Dewey Redman. Great album. Charlie Hayden. So this particular album by Jack DeJohnette is a trio album. It was Jack DeJohnette, Herbie Hancock, and Pat Metheny. And it's called Parallel Realities. And so me and my friends, we dug into this album, and it was cool because remember Jack DeJohnette played some piano on it. He's a great piano player, actually. He's a wonderful drummer. Everybody knows him from his drumming, but he's a great piano player and composer. So he got to do a little bit on that album. But when they went on tour, they grabbed this bass player named Dave Holland, and they never made a record, but they came out with a live DVD. And these live recordings are some of the most mesmerizing recordings ever. Like these four guys, what they did together is the magnitude of the music that they made on their tour was incredible. And I've heard this live DVD, and I've heard some other various recordings from different sources, and every time they played, it was just so different. They just would start playing, and it was amazing. So the last tune we're going to do is actually not on the album of Parallel Realities, but it's actually from the live DVD. So we're gonna play a Joni Mitchell tune, River, and then we're gonna finish with Solar. So enjoy. Any questions? Mostly brushes.
Okay.
It'll be good. Just vamp on the, forget the intro. Vamp, that letter A, just that. Yeah. Get it in God. La da 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 da. La la it's coming on Christmas. They're cutting down trees. They're putting up reindeer and singing songs of joy and peace. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. Oh, but it don't snow here. It stays pretty green. I'm gonna make a lot of money, and I'm gonna quit this crazy scene. I wish I had a river I could skate away on. Oh, I wish I had a river so long would teach my feet to fly. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. I made my baby cry. Oh, oh, yeah. Oh, she tried hard to help me. You know, she put me at ease. She loved me so naughty, made me weak in the knees. Oh, I wish I had a river I can skate away on. Oh, I'm so hard to handle. I'm selfish and I'm sad, and now I'm gone and lost the best baby I've ever had. Oh, I wish I had a river I could skate away on. Oh, I wish I had a river so long I would teach my feet to fly. Ooh. Oh, I wish I had a river I can skate away on. Oh, 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 oh. I made my baby say goodbye. Yeah. Oh, la dee da dee, la dee dee, la dee dee. It's coming on Christmas, they're cutting down trees, they're putting up reindeer, singing songs of joy and peace. I wish I had a river, 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 oh, I wish I had, Thank you. Before we play the last song, once again, Julien Cantelm on the drums, Carter Key on the trombone, John Murray on break from Juilliard, John Murray on bass, Shoemaker on piano and vocals, Louis Valenzuela, electric Louis Land, boogie, oogie, oogie. And my name is Leonard Patton, and thank you for supporting, thank you for coming, and we'll finish with the little Solar. Yeah, come on. Exactly. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you very much. Fun night, fun night. Let me just tell you a few things that are happening this week. On Thursday, my friend Taryn Ray from Orange County is coming down here with her group, her quartet, on Thursday. On Friday, we have the Hemisphere Band. I am singing backups in that band. There's a 9-piece band up here. It's sold out, so you can't even get a ticket. But it's the acoustic version of a bigger thing that they do. It's quite fascinating and cool. And then on Saturday, my friend Gregory Page is going to be here doing a solo thing. So the jazzlounge.live, lots of stuff happening. Summer's here, and this is like the first taste of kind of like a summer today. It's like, it's not, you know, it's like today was the first day we're like, yeah, not really any clouds. It was like warm. You know, it's like been like cold or coldish pretty much all year. And now we're like officially a few days away from summer, which is nice. So yeah, lots of stuff happening around the summer. These people are playing all the time, everywhere, all over town. So you know, if you want to find out where they're playing, and go check them out, because they're keeping this town happening. Thanks for supporting live music and being here. I'll see you soon.
Thanks, y'all.
Julie started playing and started like right away.
That was hella fun.
We were just like, yep. They're like, yep, that's it. That's